Hello, trading has closed on the 16th of April, 2024. We always start with our disclaimer. We'll go over our calls and then we'll make some predictions. It's my trading plan for Wednesday, which would be April 17th, 2024. Please remember, my calls can be completely wrong. Any trade you make should be made at your own risk. Also, I'm busy in the afternoon. It's likely I'm not going to risk my own money on today's call. If you're not familiar with the system, please remember it gives you targets. It doesn't give you entries. And you can learn more about it from here. Well, we looked for the pattern today with the early high, which is this, and tomorrow should also have the early high. We said this should either have a rally into the close or a straight line drop. Neither one of those things happened, but time doesn't run out until tomorrow's open. So either we should gap down smartly or gap up smartly at the open, and that would be the way the pattern works. It's a reminder of what we said. We also had today as a candidate for the end of the leg of the decline. We closed a little changed. I define a little changed as under 1/4%. So I repeat my call. We have a candidate for the end of the low, but there is really no signal till you get the reversal, and I think we'll find out early tomorrow. Early on, we got an ultimate buy and an ultimate sell in the same pattern, so we traded higher, we traded lower, neither one stuck. Usually when that happens, it tells you the market's not going to make any progress for the next couple hours, and we did. In the afternoon, we traded lower, traded higher. System called them false moves, and they've already retraced. Here's the daily chart. Here's the Bollinger Band. One of the red flags for me is you have a bar completely under the lower band. And the market often will do this prior to reversing. You can see here we had a bar completely over the Bollinger Band, and then it was spent. So now we have a bar completely under the band. At least it's one of the possibilities. It's at least possible. After this big drop, you're going to have a reversal tomorrow. Till it happens, you can't be sure, but at least it's one of the elements I look for. Another element is a wall into the close. These tend to be panic sells, and they tend to reverse next day by gapping up. It doesn't have to, but it happens often. Another thing is when you have a steep downtrend, you can't hold on to any of the day's lows. Now again, time doesn't run out until tomorrow morning. If we gap down here, then you've done what you had to do if you're a bear. Otherwise, this is a candidate for churning at the low. Well, we said if we went under this channel without the gap, it probably wouldn't stick. Well, that's cutting it kind of close, but that's not a gap. So I think we're going to at least return to that channel, which doesn't have to be tomorrow. But again, it's not the kind of a clean break I anticipate if we're going to just keep on dropping. Well, here was the last rally leg, and usually these things will correct 61.8%. But if it's extremely strong, the commonest place for a correction to stop is at the 38.2%, and that's where we are. So it's again, if we gap under it, then it didn't hold, but it's one of the places, a common place for this leg to end, even though I don't think the whole decline's over. This leg is a candidate for this leg being over. We also have the kind of balance of the waves I look for. We made a low. Let's start with the smallest degree and work our way up. Here's wave gold C to that low. And there's fib balance with gold A. Let's measure red C from the top of wave red A, not the origin but the top, and the waves balance. Now let's measure wave brown C That's the start of brown C. They balance. And now let's look at the biggest wave, which is blue C. And it's blue A right there. Now none of this is a guarantee that that's going to hold. But when you hit bottoms, I like to see balance of the waves like this, so this is a candidate. And if that holds, this first leg down could well be over. We could have completed the blue ABC because the fibs work. And if they don't work with all that evidence, then we're going to be gapping down, and we'll know before the open. We gap up at the open, which I think is most likely. This ABC down could be over. Well, Wednesday's pattern has the early low, doesn't tell us where we open. Today saw neither a rally into the close nor a straight line drop. Tomorrow's open should substitute for today's close by gapping sharply and taking us out of today's range. The wall in the closes into the closes frequently, not always, followed by gapping up, and there's strong Fibonacci argument for the gap being up. Just remember, if that call fails, it fails big time. Because when all these things are pointing to this slow holding and it doesn't hold, you could easily drop at least to the 61.8% retrace. But for right now, we have a good candidate for the end of the ABC and blue down, which should lead to another ABC and blue up, which probably won't finish in a day. We'll have to see if we open up here, in which case that plays out, as if we open up down here, my eraser has to get taken out of storage. So tomorrow's pattern has the early high, and that's today's call.